Welcome back to Seller Sessions. I am your host today, Sharon Even, and today, for the second time in a row, I am still sick. This is the second time I'm actually recording the podcast. This is being pre-recorded because I can't stop coughing. So I'm going to try and keep today's podcast short and sweet and to the point. I'm going to try and cough as limited amounts as possible. I don't want to be ruining your ears. So today in today's podcast, we're going to be speaking about the importance of visualizing your main image of a new product when you're already within the product research stage. So how this topic and concept of today's podcast came along is I've realized that a lot of the time I could be on a coaching call with a client and we'll be doing product research, and then I'll sort of close my eyes for a second and I'm visualizing this new product that we're speaking about and how am I going to put the main image together and how am I going to show this differentiation point. And anyway, I'll be in my own little zone, and then the client will be like, because they can see me on Zoom, they'll say, "Hey Sharon, like, what are you doing right now? Like, how can I get into your head and understand what you're doing?" And sometimes they'll be like, "Look, I'm trying to visualize our product in the search page, next to all the competitors and how we're going to show what it is that we're working on in that main image, because that's all you have. You have that one main image in order to get that click, right?" So, it's something that a lot of people don't really think about. Okay. And if I think of just as like the tiniest example, I could have thousands, not thousands, but many tens of examples to explain to you. But let's just use white packaging as an example, right? Sometimes there are people who like to include their packaging in the main image. And sometimes that packaging would have been picked out and would be white with very, for example, thin, not that easy to read or see font or some sort of drawings or whatever on it. And you got to remember that your Amazon hero image is got a white background, right? So that, for example, that's just me giving a random example that sometimes, and I'm not saying you can't have white packaging at all. I'm just giving an example of how sometimes depends. Obviously, everything is dependent. But sometimes if you would have just visualized your main image in your head while you were doing this product and even created on Canva, taken screenshots of a search page and then placed your product in the middle there and have had a look, you would sometimes, you would have made other decisions, or you would have made different decisions, or you would have made changes if you would have just visualized what that's going to look like. Because what happens is, in my experience, through working, I'm not like this, but through working one-on-one with people, sometimes you can get so in the zone when you're creating a product, especially if you're super excited about it, that you can sometimes forget that you have competitors that you're competing against, and you need to be able to get that click. And that click comes from a search page, and that search page comes with buying intent. So a buyer goes in, remember, Amazon is a platform where people make purchases on. They go into Amazon, they type in a keyword, that keyword has buying intent behind it. They click on search, boom, they have 60 products or however many products on page one. And they now need to choose, right? And they usually choose, I don't know what the exact percentage is. I'm sure someone will know, but whatever. Let's just say a very high amount, a large amount of people usually choose the products that are towards the top. And you have all these competitors, and you need to be able to stand out. You need to be able to get that click. Now, it's beyond, sometimes you could have a great differentiation point, right? A differentiation point that the buyer really cares about, but you're not showing that in your main image, or you didn't do a good job that you have allowed yourself to show it in the main image. For example, I'm going to use packaging again as an example. I'll try and think of an example of a product without giving a product away. For example, let's just say if you have packaging, and on your packaging, your really super cool, I don't know, design or whatever is on the inside of the box on an angle that is very difficult to see. let's just use a gift box as an example, right? Let's just say that you've created a gift box, and your main image is going to be showing the box open, and then the products as if they're sitting inside of it, but not actually. It would be, photoshopped or done as a 3D render. And you've got a quote of some sort on the inside of the box, but from a place where you can't see it when it's open. Okay, I hope I explained that well. And it's and that quote is like the part of the theme, let's just say, of this box. That, for example, is not the smartest thing to do, because if you need to be able to show that and you didn't place it in a place that is showable, right? That's an issue. Or if you've chosen a differentiation point. You know what? If we use gift box, let's use as an example. Let's just say that you're creating this gift box, or you're creating this bundle, and the bundle makes a lot of sense. But the minute that you put the products together and you visualize what your main image is going to look like, it kind of looks a little bit messy. And, had you maybe changed one product with a different product, it would look visually a lot better and then stand out. For example, if you're creating some sort of bundle or a gift box, it's just because it's like the first thing that came to my head. Out of 6 products, 4 of them are big and they need a lot of space within that image. And the rest are like, there isn't proportional sizing, right? Within that, you need to be able to put all of that in a main image, plus include the box, because gift boxes, you usually also show the box. How are you going to show that in the main image? These are things you need to think about, that sometimes when you try and visualize it and you realize, well, wait a minute, I should make a change here because I'm not going to be able to show that in the best way possible in the main image. Including fonting, font that you use. Sometimes people will put a font on a product that has some sort of saying, and let's just say the saying is like the part of the differentiation point, but the font on the product is so tiny that it just doesn't stand out in the main image. You got to remember that your main image is what gets you clicks, and those clicks then what hopefully then ends up getting you conversions, which is, the most important thing. It's why we're all in this business, in order to get conversions. And those conversions don't come from a terrible hero list, terrible hero image, most of the time. Okay. Not all. There are some niches where you could have the shittiest listing in the world and you'll still convert. Not that many, but they do exist. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the place where you're coming in, you have a great differentiation point, but you didn't visualize how you're going to show everything that you're thinking about, that you're working on in the main image. You've already put through your order. Now you're working on your images, or your photographer is working on your images, and you suddenly realize, hold on, I should have made this change, or I should have changed this color, or I should have added this, or whatever that's going to be able to be seen from the search page. So the moral of the story of the podcast is, when you're working on your new product, when you're in that product research stage, already from there, think about, how am I going to show whatever it is that I'm thinking about as a differentiation point, or the product as a concept? How am I going to show that in the main image? Because that main image, I have to show the differentiation in that main image. And that main image is what helps to keep my entire listing alive. And not only that, if I can't show what it is that I'm working on in the main image, that's a problem, because then how am I going to get those clicks to then educate them on the differentiation point? The reason I talk about differentiation points so much is because I don't bring products into Amazon anymore for years now. Okay. Many, many years, long before COVID. I don't bring products into Amazon that don't have high differentiation points, right? Because I just don't, in my experience, they don't last that long. And it's very, very, very category, niche, product dependent, but that's just my experience. And therefore, that's something that's really, really important for you to be able to show in your main image. And that's why I thought that this was worthy of a podcast, because it literally happened today when I was on that call with the client. And I could have sort of got into my own little zone, and I was trying to visualize how we're going to show this gift box that we're working on. How's it going to look? Because, when you're in that stage, you're thinking about the different types of products. Should this product replace this product, etc. and the whole concept and thinking about how that's going to look in the main image. And then I just had a mess in my head. And what I did is I went onto Canva and I took a screenshot of each image individually, and I started putting it together on Canva just for the sake of trying to visualize what the main image will look like. And that helped me to then, get to different types of understandings about what products I should end up using, and the colors of the products, and the color theme, and the theme of that product, etc. So make sure that you're in product research stage, that you're visualizing what your main image will look like. Make sure that your differentiation point, your USP, whatever you want to call it, can be seen from the search page. You don't want to be dependent on getting the click in order for them to learn about the differentiation. You want to be able to get that click because of the differentiation. And always visualize when you're putting the whole concept together, branding, themes, font, etc., colors. Always visualize your main image and how you're going to place that product within the search pages, the keywords. That's it. Short and sweet today. I did my very best to get through the podcast. I hope this helps some of you in your product research stages. Even if you're a seasoned seller, still it doesn't mean that this shouldn't be helpful to you as well. Sometimes we can get so caught up with our old ways. We got to remember it's not 2016 anymore. It's not 2015 anymore. And just because we did really, really well starting then doesn't mean we can use those same methods today, if you get what I mean. And therefore, we need to adjust. We need to understand we're getting into 2023. And, you have to have really amazing products that are very, that have great differentiation points. And those differentiation points absolutely must be seen from that search page. And you absolutely must be able to have a main image that's going to help you to get those clicks. And therefore, you have to always visualize what your main image is going to look like when you're already at the product research stage. That's it. I'm out. I hope you all have an amazing weekend, and I will see you all next week. Danny will also be back next week. And that's it. Bye, everyone.